Mrs. Crosman had cancer, it couldn't be possible that someone with so much love could be faced with so much pain. But her resilience is unimaginable, and the way I felt about her from the first week of school till now is proof that when people care about us so much, in a short space of time, the impact on our lives is so grand. Even though we will never be able to laugh uncontrollably with our friends again as high school seniors or cry on the shoulder of our best friends because our heart aches, all the moments of community were so densely packed that it feels like you've grown with your people exponentially. And now it feels like it ended. But what is truly unique about Suffield is the breadth and depth of the impact it's had on us. Our comfortable bubble has been a privilege, and I sometimes feel guilty about how smooth our time has been. There are children with no universities in their country. There are children that were killed and won't be able to walk across their stage. There are children with no food, no parents, no guidance, no clothes, but just hope that one day their world will become a little more peaceful. So, when we think about how fortunate we are to graduate tomorrow, please keep in mind the responsibility that comes with the privilege of love and a good education. Pour yourself into what you are passionate about, just as your favorite teachers did for you. Just because we are educated doesn't mean we have to change the world. Every time I felt like I wasn't doing enough, my mom told me, "Chas, your best is good enough." Every time I have broken into tears, my mother has been my lifetime best friend to comfort me. Nevertheless, I do my best for her and have no regrets in my life because I give my everything into what I do. In my final essay for Suffield, I wrote, "What I produce is my life, and I take pride in that. Embrace the impact that the people here have had on you and the impact you've had on Suffield. Think about what you can do to continue or enhance what you've done to be a community member, a world citizen." So, when we leave this institution full of emotion, never forget those who had true devotion to your happiness and well-being. Cherish your bonds and show gratitude to those who impacted you. Be proud of how much you grew and what you will soon pursue. Too many times, potential energy for success is wasted. There is zero room for regret, but only space for your passions to be curated. To productively use your privilege is to appreciate the sacrifices made for you. Class of 2024, hug your people tight. Congratulations, everyone, and have the best night. Thank you.
Much has been said and will be said about the state of the world during your time in high school. History will likely note that this is a turbulent time in which to grow up. You joined us during the pandemic with masks and quarantines, and since you've been in high school, there have been the beginning of 2 wars, civil unrest in the United States, racial protests, global sanctions, fights over the rights of LGBTQ people, impeachments, vaccine hesitancy, delay of the Summer Olympics, the Winter Olympics, both men's and women's FIFA World Cups, the rise of electric vehicles, continued conversation about environmental impacts, the destigmatizing of mental health struggles and mental health care, and likely, gasp, a TikTok ban coming to the United States. There's certainly been a lot happening in the world, and some of you have been engaged in active discussions about how these global events impact you or your ability to feel comfortable, to feel supported, heard, and understood. Some of you have worked to change the world with your activism, your passions, and your care for others. Some of you have focused on your lives here on campus, contributing to our community through your scholarship, your artistry, and your athletic commitments. Some of you have focused on developing your own egos and identities, growing and developing into thoughtful and compassionate humans. However you have spent your time at Suffield, whether it was 1 year or 5, you've grown, learned, and changed. As you prepare to step beyond the familiar pathways and traditions of Suffield Academy, as you step away from classes in study hall, from sit-down lunches in chapel, from absences and demerits, from your advisors, your coaches, your dorm parents, I encourage you to remember times that you have felt loved, supported, and embraced in our community. Throughout all your time here, you have been instrumental in developing our community, this fellowship of ideals and goals that we have here at Suffield. In fact, when Suffield students, and many of you, are asked what you like best about Suffield, almost everyone will say, the community. I've heard you say this on tours, on panels, with your parents, with prospective students. And this is true. We all value our community. Creating a community like ours where kindness and respect are expected, however, it doesn't just happen. It's intentional, and it is cultivated over time. It is nurtured. It is a choice. All of us in this room have our own ways of participating in and nurturing our community. Each night before I go to bed, I reflect on the day. I reflect on the ups and the downs, the things that went well, things that didn't, things I could have changed, relationships I could have developed and nurtured, and maybe some that I didn't. I like to review how I can do better, how I can be more intentional, more kind, more thoughtful. And I use 2 questions to help me think about every day. What did I learn, and who did I help? I have found these 2 questions to be pivotal in guiding me. What did I learn, and who did I help? So, what have I learned from the class of 2024? I've learned that there are some tremendous artists in your class. I've learned that many of you waited until the very last minute to write your chapel speeches. You told us that every week, if you don't remember. I've learned you all have a story, and one that is unique to you. I've learned that some of you hate detention, and I've also learned that some of you like to go every week. Congratulations. I was going to give some shout-outs on that, but I think I'll hold my tongue. You know who you are. I've learned that high school is hard and was hard for all of you in different ways. I've learned that pressure and stress leads people to make choices and decisions that are often out of character. I have learned shockingly that some of you spend 8 or more hours a day on your phone. How is that possible? Check your usage. It is true. You spend that much time. And I have learned that I need to keep practicing some of your names for tomorrow. So good luck to me. You can help me remind me after this. But these lessons and so many more have been pivotal in how we have gotten to know you and how you have shaped our community. So who did we help? Well, I like to think that we have helped all of you over the years in one way or another. Knowing that help can come in many forms, I know we helped you with the simple things like getting rides somewhere, finding your keys, finding your AirPods, finding your phones, finding your athletic gear, finding whatever you may have lost. Over 4 years, it's quite a bit. But more seriously, we've helped to remind you that you need to park somewhere appropriate, you need to go to class all the time and on time, and that you need to wear a dress code. But I hope that we've also helped you when you may have really needed it, when you felt sad, when you felt alone or anxious, when you couldn't see a path forward, and when you needed someone to listen and to show kindness. So on this eve of your graduation, how did you contribute to the community today? So right now, let's take a minute and think to yourself. What did you learn today, and who did you help? Some of the answers to this question will be simple. You learned where to sit tonight, or that leaving Suffield is harder and more emotional than you thought it would be. Perhaps you helped someone get to rehearsals on time, or to pack their room. I know all of you helped to set up the chairs on Bale Hill for tomorrow, and some of you helped to cool people down after lunch, throwing some water balloons. However, I think when you dig deeper, you will find that the answers will be heavier and harder. Perhaps you helped someone know their worth and that they are valued when they are at their lowest point. Perhaps you have learned that your choices have a ripple effect on others, for better or for worse. Whatever your answers are moving forward, by asking yourself these questions, what did I learn and who did I help? You are allowing and forcing yourself to think about your choices and the impact they have on your community. So as you begin your next adventure in a new place and with new people, it's important that you find your next community, a community which will continue to support and care for you, a place that you will find people with similar ideas and goals. But it's also your job and your responsibility to help support this new world you find yourself in and help to build the community that you want, an intentional community that offers kindness and respect. If you are struggling to find a community that you need, that you feel connected to, we all know you can draw on the lessons you learned at Suffield, from your leadership classes, from our core 4 guiding principles of kindness, respect, leadership, and effort. And you can build your own community. You know how to build your own intentional community. So, continue to ask yourself each day, what did I learn and who did I help? Knowing that these ideas are intertwined in finding happiness. That learning and helping others enriches your life and contributes to a more compassionate and understanding world. That extending kindness to one another cultivates an environment of trust and cooperation where people are more likely to help, share resources, and support each other. So go build your next intentional community. Go and share the Suffield spirit of kindness with others. And always ask yourself, what are you learning and who are you helping? Congratulations, class of 2024.
I will now bring this event to a close with some comments and review of some logistics. As I mentioned before, we will head over to Styles Walk after this event. Please allow time for parents to come join us for photos. Seniors, we ask that you gather in the Student Union until our faculty is set to greet you, and then you will be dismissed for the procession on Styles. Tomorrow, we will have brunch in the dining room from 8:30 to 10 o'clock, and commencement will begin on Bell Hill at 10:30. After graduation, we invite everyone to a lunch, which will be served at various stations on Styles Walk and the Tremaine Arts Center. Many years ago, I was taught that people generally remember about 10% of what they hear in a talk like the one I will now give. I once asked a student, in fact, about what 10% she remembered of a talk I had given. She said, "I only remember you said I'd remember 10%. I'll remind you as I conclude this evening what 10% I would like you to remember. This is, of course, a special period for you and your families. You have earned the privilege of being a Suffield graduate, and we are proud of your individual and collective achievements. As you head out to seek a newer world and face the challenges ahead, I again ask that you thank those who made these experiences at Suffield possible for you, your parents, your families, and your teachers. You will start to see things differently now as Suffield's structure is removed and you head on to the next parts of your lives. You will have different perspective. How will you change? I like to mention each year at this gathering that as you get older, you will not be as smart as you are today. The young are smarter than the old. Just ask them. Today, you are smarter than you will ever be. Next week or so, you will begin to have some doubts. By the end of college, even more doubts. And by 30, lots of doubts. And 40 and 50, you'll be certain that you know very little. In speaking of how we change as we move from adolescence to adulthood, one of America's great writers, Mark Twain, once remarked, "When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much the old man had learned in 7 years." I have a friend who spent a year driving across America and seeking wisdom from older people, literally cold calling celebrated, accomplished people and asking them to go out for a cup of coffee with him and hear about the values they live by, the struggles they endured, and advice they would offer his generation to better prepare them for the road ahead. His journey was led by a Chinese proverb: "To know the road ahead, ask those coming back." In a meeting with Donald Keough, then president of Coca-Cola, my friend Adam asked, "Given your experience and knowledge, what do you think separates those who achieve from those who do not?" Keough's answer was echoed by almost everyone my friend Adam met on this journey. "From my perspective," he said, "what separates those who achieve greatness in our world from those who do not is in direct proportion to one's ability to ask for help." Please know we don't have all the answers. Life is full of challenge and possibility. Be sure that when you don't know and you feel lost, you ask others for help and support along the way. This is the greatest sign of strength and courage. The one who asks questions does not lose their way. I will speak more about this tomorrow, but we sincerely hope your time at Suffield has helped you feel confident and optimistic enough to treat yourselves and others with genuine respect and kindness. As Howard Whitman wrote, "Real success is not an outward how, but an inward feeling." It begins inside, and probably its first inkling is the feeling, even the knowledge, that one is worthwhile. That's quite a discovery. Regardless of how the rest of the world may value us, there is no fooling the inner bureau of standards. For better or worse, regret and failure come with human existence, feelings of our being less than we want as people. But being kind and encouraging can make up for many of those regrets. There is overwhelming evidence, Nathaniel Branden said, that the higher the level of self-esteem, the more likely one will be to treat others with respect, kindness, and generosity. So just some quick advice about tomorrow when you will be in your lines, as we practice today, to receive your Suffield degree. A headmaster I'm friendly with told me a story about a meeting he had with a graduate back on campus for his 25th reunion. The graduate said, "I have wanted to come back for 25 years and see you and thank you for the inspirational personal advice you gave me at commencement 25 years ago." "Thank you," said the headmaster, who of course could not remember the advice. "Perhaps you could refresh my memory. What did I say that inspired you so much?" The graduate leaned forward in his chair, looked closely at the headmaster, and said, "I've tried to live my life by the words you shared when you gave me my diploma. You shook my hand and you said, 'Now keep moving. Just keep moving.'" So that's my advice for tomorrow and far beyond. Keep moving. That's the 10% I want you to remember. Keep moving. Before closing, I want to again emphasize that you've had some real partners on this journey, including your family and our faculty sitting with me tonight. This is always an interesting, complicated moment for us as faculty members. As I like to say, the faculty is the nerve center of Suffield Academy and helps carry forth the values and history of our school from 1833 to today. These people have taught you, motivated you, laughed with you, and given of themselves to help you grow and prosper. They've embraced our emphasis on the distance traveled by each student by their years at Suffield. We watch you tonight with wonder and even a little awe as we think of all that lies ahead for you. You are going, and we are staying. Fortunately, we derive great meaning and satisfaction from what we do here, and we hope you will also find this professional satisfaction in the years ahead. When you discover jobs you feel passionately about, you will love working hard and investing your lives in what you do. This is a key, among many others, to happiness. So we will keep up this important work of encouraging and inspired, talented young people like you, and I am pleased you will have a chance in just a few minutes on Styles to thank our faculty for the help they have offered you in your journey through our school. In closing, as we look ahead to tomorrow's commencement, thank you again for caring about our school and about each other. And please follow your instincts and your hearts in the years ahead. Esse quam videre. We will now bring our service to a close with the Irish blessing as a benediction. Thank you again for being here.